Well, speaking of Unity Earth, one of our friends that's been on this show before, who's almost always on Unity Earth, Unity Earth has a meeting every Wednesday, and I popped in just in time to see Amanda Waring. They kind of dedicated today's show to Amanda and your wonderful work. Now, of course, you've been on our show, you've recited poetry and shared your wisdom, but I'd love to give you a few minutes to share with the audience a little bit of what I got a chance to see earlier this afternoon. So welcome, Amanda.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here. Yes, so tonight, well, it's might tonight in the UK, we did a program on death and dying. So a really important subject matter. So I am a death doula, an author and a filmmaker on end of life care, and part of the reasoning for around this was the lovely Linda DeHart and I had created a beautiful short film that really expressed part of me taking somebody through their passing that was a dancer. And where I feel at this moment really, really honoured to be given that time to share with the audience that was there. How do we now look at death and dying in a way that is not shielding us from it, but guiding us through it? How can we look at supporting each other to have those deep conversations so we're not left in a desperate state where questions haven't been talked about, wishes haven't been granted for what people would like or consider for their passing, that we make it a much more normal, loving conversation way before we get to, a time when perhaps it is our natural passing. So, and Omasho's just said, would I read that book excerpt? If that's fine, I would love to. I've written 2 books on death and dying and over 50 films I've made on death and dying as well, and training packs. And in the UK, I set up the Dignity and Care campaign that's had about 250,000 dignity champions. So it's a passion of mine from the personal perspective of my mother and her passing, which was good in the end. But I think we also were discussing those uplifting moments where the unexplainable, the butterflies that appear when a loved one has passed, or the other signs that are there, or that moment when you're sitting with the dying and you feel when that spirit has gone and the body is just left as that shell. But Scott, if that's all right, are you happy to me to read?
Yes, yes, please do.
Okay, so Omashar, this is your request. So this is from my book, The Heart of Care. Um, And this talks about my trainings and workshops that I do, and I teach doctors and nurses around compassionate care as well as carers. So, in my training sessions and workshops, I like to retell the story of an American doctor, Paul Ruskin, who was giving a lecture to graduate nurses on the psychological aspects of aging. He told them, "The patient neither speaks nor comprehends the spoken word. Sometimes she babbles incoherently for hours on end. She is disorientated about person, place, and time. She does, however, respond to her own name. And I've worked with her for the past 6 months, but she still shows complete disregard for her physical appearance and makes no effort to assist in her own care. She must be fed, bathed, and clothed by others. And because she has no teeth, her food must be pureed. Her shirt is usually soiled from almost incessant drooling, and she does not walk. Her sleep patterns are erratic, and often she wakes in the middle of the night and her screaming awakens others. Most of the time she is friendly and happy, but several times a day she gets quite agitated without apparent cause, and then she wails until someone comes to comfort her." So I asked how the nurses would feel about taking care of such a patient. And they use such words as frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and annoyed. And when I said that I enjoyed it and thought that they would too, the class looked at me in disbelief. And then I passed around a picture of the patient, my 6-month-old daughter. So why? is it so much more difficult to care for a 90-year-old than a 6-month-old with identical symptoms? A helpless baby may weigh 15 pounds and a helpless adult 100, but the answer goes deeper than this. The infant represents new life, hope, and almost infinite potential. The aged patient represents the end of life with little chance for growth in some aspects. But we need to change our perspective. Those who are ending their lives in the helplessness of old age deserve the same care and attention as those who are beginning their lives in the helplessness of infancy. And I suppose what I'm asking for everyone is to say this is a rallying cry, because all of us are getting older. There's not necessarily going to be carers for us other than the people that we can get to care for us. So we really, all of us need a national care service so that we're taught loving principles of person-centered care at school. It becomes part of the curriculum. And when I say, we've got a national care service, I've spoken about it a lot on the UK and TV. But they say, oh no, that's not possible. And I'm going, but we haven't even tried that. Of course it could be possible. So I don't know, for me, we are going to have to, as a society, take this on board, which gives us our humanity, the chance to give and receive love. Love in care is not a dirty word. Love in care is what it's about, and what's been squeezed out through all of these policies and procedures, and shortening the hours that people can have with elders or anyone that's dying, is that we've squeezed out our humanity, and we've placed it with carers that are overworked, overwhelmed, underpaid. And this system has to change. It has to change now. So we can do this. I totally believe that we can do this if we look at systems changing. And I've been very lucky with my films that I've made. One of my films called What Do You See? And I took it to the Prime Minister when I made that film, which was now 25 years ago. And I said, we have to start putting the word dignity into training, because it wasn't even in the training of doctors and nurses, that concept. And so many times I've seen older people treated with a lack of respect. And now, as we're embracing the understanding of elderhood and what that means, and the honouring of all of our life stages, whatever age we are at, each one is as valid as the other, and each are interconnected, and we're our own unified being. So if we can embrace all those ages that we are and the ages that we're going to become, and not be frightened of addressing our growth. We don't criticize a tree for growing age upon age upon age and getting stronger and looking upwards. But we kind of seem to do that for humans, and our spirits are growing all the time. So this is my work, and I'd love to share a poem with you that kind of relates to what we were talking in the world situation, the symposium as well, and also our death and dying. And it's this: if you plant a seed and it takes root elsewhere, don't turn your back. The seed is still there. It's sowing that matters, the courage to try. Nerves may be shattered, but the seed cannot die. So let's celebrate all the seeds of love, compassion, interaction that we have shared with loved ones. And let's celebrate all the new seeds to come, which will be deepening that understanding of the sacredness of dying and the sacredness of living, and the bridging of the two in a rainbow arc that we will, I believe, remember. If we can remember to let go of our physical body in a gentle way, one of the ways that I was discussing today was about a body blessing. And if you have time and if that's appropriate, I can take us through a little tiny body blessing. How are you for time, Scott?
Well, we're way over time. If
Oh,
you if you can you keep it? How long would it be, dear?
oh, I could do it in 2 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes max, and ideally one, because we're about a half an hour over time already, and we still have the great Mary Cromwell ahead of us. So,
Amazing, amazing. Okay. Just we just imagine that you're going to bless your hands. We're allowing ourselves to let go of our physical form by honoring it and blessing it. So bless your hands. These beautiful hands. Think about your hands that have given you the opportunity to touch, caress, paint, to be able to stroke your pets, to love. Bless these hands. And let's bless your feet, your amazing feet that have allowed you to walk the land, to travel, to see loved ones. Bless your incredible feet that have given you the opportunity to dance and jump, to be in the sea, to be in the grass, and come up to your mind. Bless your beautiful mind that has stored and learned and shared so much knowledge and has found so many solutions. And bless your beautiful heart that has felt so much, that has loved and held so much and will never be forgotten. Thank you.
thank you very much, Amanda, and thank you, Desiree Omashan Diarra, for kind of presenting that. And for people who want to know more about what Amanda provides, her website is easy to find because it's her name, amandawaring.com.
Yeah.
Amanda, A-N-D-A, Waring, waring.com. So for all of our friends watching on YouTube and on Facebook, there it is. And if you scroll down, you can learn all about about her and about her many offerings. And I think that we can find care is where we can find what you were just talking about.
Yes.
So if you click care, that takes you to learn more about this beautiful work that she's doing with the Heart of Care. So God bless you so much, Minda. We really
Thank
appreciate
you so
it.
much.